The attention step is our first place, is where we start the speech. All right, so the first words out of your mouth are for the attention step. Now, we called it an attention getter in the informative speech. It's basically the same thing. However, we're going to call it attention step, since the motivated sequence goes in a series of 5 steps. So in the attention step, you can do lots of things to get the attention of an audience. I mean, you can ask questions. You can ask rhetorical questions or audience involvement questions. You can use videos. You can use pictures. You can tell a shocking statistic or fact, or you can open with a quote, or you can open with the musical playing. You can do a lot of things to get the audience's attention. However, for our purposes and for what we're doing, you can only open with a narrative. All right, so we're not going to ask questions. We're not going to do quotes. It's not going to be a little 2-line, 3-line opening. We're going to give a narrative or a story where something happens, and then that's going to lead us into the next step, which is the problem step. So basically, our whole introduction, it doesn't have an attention getter and why this is important to the audience, and then restate the thesis, and then preview the main parts. We don't have anything in there except for the attention getter. And in the attention getter, or our transition from that, we should tell the audience why it's important for them to listen. All right, so let's think about it. Let's talk about the situation. I have a model up there for buying a house as what I want you to do, a proposition of policy. So in the front matter, my proposition of policy is you should buy a house. Okay, so we start out with the attention getter, and I'll tell you a little narrative of what went on. So here's an example of a short narrative. When I was in college, I was struggling to pay the bills and to keep up with tuition and everything. So financially, it was a struggle. I came home during the break back to Seattle, and I was over at my friend's house, and I was reading the Seattle Times newspaper, and in it talked about these parents who would buy a house around the University of Washington, these 7-bedroom houses and 5-bathroom type thing, and then what they would do is they would put other students inside the house with their child. So they would have 6 renters in there basically, and at that time I think it was like $500 a month, and then they'd put their child in there. So that they drew 6 times 500, so they had $3,000 of income for the house, and their payments on the house were about $1,000 to $1,500. All right, so they were making money, and what they would do is they'd pay for their child's tuition and expenses and all that out of that other $1,500 a month, and they had shelter for them already that was being paid for. So you take the $3,000 to $1,500 a month, you got an extra $1,500, and that's what pays for the child. So, and now that's my story. And now what I'll do is I'll transition into the body of the speech, so the problem step, and I'll say, and you too can go to college for free. Okay, or something along those lines. All right. So anyway, but that's the idea. So you do your narrative, and then you have a transition into the problem step. All right, we'll see you in the next video.